Welcome to Female Fluence. We are a place of woman empowering women. This is a safe environment where females are not judged nor afraid to flourish. My goal is to help you live an energized life of balance, whether as a mom, a wife, or in your profession. It is time to have self-worth and self-compassion. Live in the present moment and surround yourself with only healthy connections. So join me, Pearl Shur, a woman empowerment life coach, an educator, and a mother of three, to help take you on a journey of true identity and inspiration. Photography has the power to reveal something we've been taught to hide, our own bodies. It shows us that nudity doesn't have to live under the heavy weight of taboo, shame, and vanity. Instead, it can be a catalyst for confidence, acceptance, and radical self-love. Ever wondered what happens when a woman truly sees themselves through fresh eyes, when they look past their flaws and instead witness the grace, strength, and beauty their bodies actually carry? We often use the words nude and naked as if they mean the same thing, but they don't. Nude is about the human form, artistic, graceful, unapologetic. Naked is more raw, vulnerable, exposed, and unprotected. And for that, many of us, that difference matters. For generations, cultures have tied nudity to shame, sin, and silence, especially for women. We've been told to cover up, to shrink, and modify ourselves. No wonder standing without clothes feels terrifying for so many of us. It forces us to confront not just our reflection, but the years of conditioning stitched into us. Boudoir photography becomes the rebellion. It's more than photos. It connects back to us. It's a chance to decide what it feels to be empowered in your own skin. My guest today, Liz, speaks beautifully about how women often silence their relationship with nudity just to make others feel more comfortable. Together today, we will explore the line between exposure that diminishes us and expressions that uplift us. This isn't vanity. It's about visibility. It's about choosing, and it's about reclaiming the freedom to see ourselves fully with love. Liz Hansen is a photographer and the owner of a Chicago Boudoir Photography, a boutique studio that empowers women to celebrate their lives, bodies, and relationships through beautiful portraits. Liz has photographed close to 2,000 women in her studio. She holds an MA in education and is the owner of a photography studio that generates $1 million a year. She teaches entrepreneurship skills to photographers through her online coaching program. She has been featured on TEDx stage, on National Public Radio, in the Chicago Reader, and with the Association of International Boudoir Photography. Liz, welcome to Female Fluence. So excited to have you on our show.
Thank you so much, and for that beautiful introduction.
Thank you for being here. I'm excited about this topic because it's one of those things that I think we need to talk about more. I feel like that people are just very fearful when you say, what? You want me to take what kind of photos? And before we dive in, I have to say, I have done it, and I'm really proud of myself at this point. And it's really interesting because it was right around when I was turning 40, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this as a gift for my husband's birthday. That was the whole thing. But it was funny because as I was researching you and reading about everything, and I noticed so many of the same thing where women feel like they want to do it as a gift for their spouse, their partner, but it really ended up being a gift for myself. So it was like one of those things that I went through this process. I was really scared, really nervous. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a nice gift. It's like, for his birthday or whatnot. And then when I did it, it was really empowering and I felt really good. And I looked and I was like, wow, I've had 3 kids. I'm looking good. Like this is, so it was, and it was one of those things I have, and I didn't get all crazy. It was like, not like all that nudity, but it was like a little bit of sensuality, sexuality. And I have one picture in my bathroom mirror where it's kind of just me like turning around my back. You can't really see anything, but it's just like very mysterious. And for the longest time, at first, like my girls would be like, "Whoa, what is this?" But now, as they're gotten older and they are, my oldest is 20, like she like literally like will take a friend, her girlfriend. She's like, "You got to see my mom. Like this is her, and she's like really proud and excited about it. And I told them, I said, down the line when I'm an old grandma, this is going to be, and I'm no longer here, you will look at this and be like, oh, this was great grandma. And it's kind of empowering and neat. So, anyways, just a little neat story to share with you.
Yeah, I mean, you've captured so much of what it is that I do and my mission. So, my business is Boudoir, right? Women come to my studio to create sexy, sensual photos. But I have this broader mission to help women feel more confident in their own skin, to create a piece of art that they can have on their wall, like you did, to create a legacy to say, this is me, this is who I am, I'm not ashamed. And I hope that, yes, boudoir can be a great gift. You can give it to a partner. That's great. I love it. It's a fantastic gift. But I also hope you leave my studio feeling something different about yourself, seeing yourself through a new way.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is what this show is all about. It's about empowering women. So that's why I decided this is kind of a neat topic that we need to touch on and talk about and see if other females will want to look into it and say, okay, maybe it's time for me to do something like this for myself. So tell me this. How did you transition from a stay-at-home mom into a boudoir photographer? I'm really curious.
Yeah, so I had 2 little kids and I love taking pictures of them. And I started a photography business where I took pictures of families, did some weddings, babies, things like that, right? And this is about, a decade ago. And I heard about boudoir and I heard that some of my photography friends were doing it. And I was like, really? Like women actually go take nude photos or photos in lingerie? Like, I can't believe it. But I was very intrigued. So I signed up for a photo shoot for myself. So I decided to do it. I wasn't taking the pictures, I was in the pictures, right? And I was very nervous. This was very outside of my comfort zone. I'd never done something like this before. I'd been raised in a very conservative religious household, and doing something like this was very naughty, right? Like I shouldn't do something like this. But I walked into that photo session and I was super nervous, but I walked out feeling very confident, empowered, and ready to show up in my life in bigger and better ways. And I decided I wanted other women to have this experience, to feel this. So I opened up my own boudoir studio. I'd never run a business before. It was a big leap for me, but I knew I believed in this mission and I believed in women feeling empowered and confident in their own skin. So that's what got me started. Now I've been doing this full time for about 8 years. And like you said, I've photographed nearly 2,000 women.
That's incredible. That's a neat journey. Now, explain to my listeners, what does the word, I mean, we hear it, but what does boudoir actually even mean?
Yeah, boudoir is a French word and it means a woman's bedroom. Some people
Ooh.
like to say boudoir, some people like to say boudoir if you want to be kind of fancy. But what it has come to mean as a boudoir photographer is that it's a style of photography to create these sensual photos primarily of women. Now, can men do boudoir? Sure, they can. I don't photograph men. I focus on a female, 100% female staff and 100% female studio. But it's just a way, it's a type of photography that means sensual, sexy photos of women.
Very nice. So, why do you think, based on your experience, why do you believe so many of us carry a resistance around fear of being photographed in nude?
Yeah, so the nude body is, I like to say nudity is not neutral, right? We have like a lot of strong feelings about it. Um, you you can't be naked in public, right? Like that's actually illegal, right? And so we have these ideas about like shame and like you said in the intro, like naked and nude, like you just even saying the words, people have like a reaction, right? I tell people I take nude photos and their face changes. Like, oh my gosh, you do? Like, I can't believe you do that, right? We have like a, 100-year history from Puritan England and from, religious telling us that there's something wrong with the body, that the body is to be shamed and covered, and especially female bodies they're dangerous, right? They lure men into sin, right? And so taking pictures in your nude body, it's a very taboo thing to do. It goes against like our social norms about what good girls, and I'm putting good girls in quotes, what good girls can and should do, right? But what I believe about boudoir is that it doesn't. Yes, you can be nervous doing it, but there's nothing wrong with doing it. There's nothing wrong with showing up and claiming and saying, "I'm here and I deserve to be documented in this way."
Yeah, that's good. What shifts do you see when we start to see nudity as something positive, like instead of something shameful? Like how can we, like conversations among women, like help each other become understand that nudity can actually be a source of power and freedom and healing rather than something just like to hide and feel shameful.
Yeah, now I'm not suggesting that anyone goes and just starts walking around their neighborhood naked. Like, I want to be clear.
Are you
It,
starting a movement,
no,
a
I mean,
trend?
consent is still important, right?
Right.
Consent is key, right?
Of course.
However, a lot of us as young girls and as young women, we grew up believing that there was something wrong with our bodies, right? We grew up being told these messages that we needed to be thinner, smaller, darker, lighter, have our hair straighter, have our hair curlier, like our eyelashes weren't long enough, like we had too much hair, we had too little hair, right? Like every piece of our body, we tear ourselves apart trying to fit into like looking like the cover of a magazine, right? And I believe that self-love and self-acceptance can start by looking at your naked body in the mirror and accepting that you have a body, right? Like instead of hiding from this, and everyone has a naked body. Every single person walking around this planet, right? But we kind of like pretend like we don't, right? Unless you grew up maybe in Finland going to saunas with other people, like you maybe didn't see very many nude bodies, right? Like it was always covered up. It was always a little bit of shame, always a little bit of taboo, right? So if you've been kind of in this cycle of like, I hate my body, I have shame about my body, I would encourage you, if you can, to trade that like, I hate my body, switch just one letter to instead, I have a body, right? Go from I hate my body to I have a body. What does that do? That takes you from a place of body negativity to a place of body neutrality. I have a body. And once you can say, you know what, I have a body. I'm grateful for what my body can do. I have legs, they let me walk. I have arms, they let me give hugs. I have a belly that lets me digest delicious food and
Hmm.
laugh, right? Then you can start appreciating your body for more of what it does and worry less about what it looks like. And I think that's the start of radical self-acceptance and self-love.
I love that. I mean, that's a huge mind shift. When you think about it, if you just change those words, and that actually takes me to the next question. It's like, why do you think, like you mentioned, like it's essential for us to practice simple acts like walking confidently from the shower to the bedroom, right? Without being all scared and covering ourselves up and just looking ourselves in the mirror and speaking kindly instead of like being so critical, like, oh, I hate my thighs and my stomach is disgusting and, my breasts are too floppy. Just looking and saying, yeah, I have a body. My body is my vessel that lets me do so much in my life. I can move, I can walk, I can dance, and just having a positive perspective, like reflecting in a kindly way to our body is so key.
I agree. And I believe that if you want to give love into the world, you want to help other people, you want to be a force for good in this world, you have to start here. Start within, start with yourself. If you can't love yourself, it's really hard to love other people. And your body is integral to who you are, right? You are your body is you, right? So when you can start to accept and love your body rather than hating it and talking about how terrible it is and using all these words you were disgusting and gross, right? Like when you can start to appreciate and love the miracle that your body is, that's when you're going to be able to go out in the world and give that love to others, right? Like world peace starts right here within, right?
Yeah,
And if you can declare a truce on the war that you currently are waging against your own body, then maybe we can start to see peace between people, between nations, right? I'm not exaggerating. I believe that empowered women who accept and love their bodies are going to go out and change the world.
that's amazing. I love that. Now, do you think is there fear and shame around nudity something that like we're just born with, like that we just think this is how it's supposed to be, we need to be covered up, or it's something, or it's a behavior that's been kind of passed down and taught to us from generations or from cultures or like you said, religion?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a mix of both, right? Like we are not mammals that have like a nice, thick coat of fur to keep us warm in the winter, right? So we need
Right.
some clothes, right? I'm not saying that like there's anything wrong with clothes. Like I love clothes, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a strong like cultural, like a lot of us have just been socialized to feel this shame about our bodies, especially women, right? And it has to do, in my opinion, a lot with the beauty standards, right? Would you be willing to show your body in a photo if you believed it was beautiful? Right? It's not for a lot of women, the reason that they're scared to do a boudoir photo shoot is not because they're scared of nudity per se, but they're scared that they don't look good enough to do something like boudoir. So it's that belief,
Worth.
yeah, it's that belief that we're not good enough, that we don't live up to standards, that we don't fit into this mold, right? Like I mean, let's be honest, the beauty standards for a lot of years have been young, white, and thin, right? And if you are not those things, then you suddenly feel like you don't belong, that you're not good enough, your body's not good enough, right? And what boudoir says instead is your body is perfect and beautiful just as it is. You don't have to change anything about yourself to do a boudoir photo shoot. A boudoir photo shoot is a celebration of you just as you are. Right now, do a boudoir photo shoot now, do one in 5 years, do it in 10 years. Every chapter of you is beautiful and tells a story and deserves to be documented.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of stories, I listened to your TEDx and I wanted you to share the story about Sarah and why and how, with her scars and everything, why she decided that she needed to do a photo shoot with you. I thought that was really inspiring.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening to the TED Talk.
I researched my guests before, so
Yeah, I got up on the TEDx stage and gave a whole talk about how people should spend more time naked.
I know
So
I was like, when I hit it, I'm like, wow, she's a brave woman.
it was funny to see some of the audience members' faces when I first started talking. They're like, she's really gonna go there. That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna talk about it. Yeah, Sarah was a woman who came to my studio. I'll never forget. She was a young mom. She had two kids when she had a sudden massive heart attack. And in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, she was declared dead and brought back to life through CPR. Like she literally was brought back to life. And over the course, she had a long recovery from this heart attack. And over the course of a few months, she had to have many surgeries on her chest, like to open up her body and work on her heart and close her back up again. And she had scars up and down her torso after all of this, all these medical treatments and interventions. But she was alive. And on the 1 year anniversary of her heart attack, she decided that she wanted to be with me in the boudoir studio. She wanted to be there because she wanted to celebrate being alive. And she wanted to take nude photos that showed her scars. She didn't want me to Photoshop them out. She didn't want to hide them. She wanted to celebrate them and document them and recognize how lucky she was to be alive and that those scars represented,
Mhm.
her journey and
Her
her life.
life, her journey.
And what I always tell women is you don't have to have a heart attack to get to the place that Sarah was at, to want to say, I'm alive, and that's amazing. I have scars, I have stretch marks, I have whatever, but they're part of my story and I want to celebrate them. That's what I aim to do every time a woman steps into my studio.
I love that. And I feel like we all have stories. It's like, you have scars for like your C-section for every child you've had and whatever it have been, you fell down as a kid and it's like a memory for you that so it's like those are all our stories and we have to embrace them and just say this is part of me. This I'm the whole package and these all come with me, whether it's the extra weight over here or the star, or if I burnt myself when I was cooking some meal and there's whatever it is, those are all stories. So I think that's such an inspiring story. I love that. Um, so the other thing I've heard you say, you've called it the taboo tax. I wanted you to define what that was and why is it essential to break free from the taboos around nudity and what kind of new confidence or freedom can emerge from that.
Yeah, so the taboo tax is a little phrase I came up with that indicates like the price you pay socially often when you decide to do something that's a little bit taboo, right? For example, I tell people that I'm a boudoir photographer. Sometimes I get like weird responses, weird looks, right? That's because I'm doing something that's a taboo, that's, not completely socially acceptable, right? And you might do something like that too, and you may pay a price socially in the sense that women, when we break barriers, when we color outside the lines, when we do things no woman's ever done before, sometimes we are called, what are we called? We're called witches. We're called, naughty names. I shouldn't even say on the air, right? We're told that we're bad girls, that we are
Yes.
fallen women, right? Or because, it's like women are powerful. Our bodies are powerful. We have the power to carry life. We are inherently powerful. And I think a lot of times that society wants to contain that power, wants to put us in boxes, wants to
Yep.
keep us in line because if not, like that power can like, you know, topple governments and,
Yeah.
change the
It
world,
can
right?
be
So
overpowering.
it can
Yes.
be
Yes.
overpowered, right? But like I believe that empowered women today, that is like that is the calling of our generation to break those barriers, to break those taboos, to be willing to pay that price, to be called a bad name, to be told that we're not to sit down and shut up. Like be willing to step outside the line and do it anyway. I think that's what this next generation and our children and our
Yeah.
grandchildren, that's what we as women, we're going to have to rise up and do. Be willing to tolerate when people judge us and criticize us because we have a work to do.
Yes, I agree with you. And you know what? Either way, I always say people will judge and criticize you no matter what you do. So you might as well be doing it for a good cause and shift and make a movement and change those narratives because, yes, society would like to silence and shrink us. I mean, that's how it's been for many, many generations. Now, I'm just curious. So, like, if you're at school, like a PTF meeting, do you what happens when you say what you do? I want to see these moms' reactions, like
Well,
the conservative moms.
here's the thing. I understand that what I do is not always like I don't always lead with it. So sometimes if I meet a new person, I say, oh, I take portraits. Oh, I take portraits of women. I do
You're like,
kind
I
of
do Christmas cards.
So I kind of lead into it. But
Yeah.
let's be honest, like my parents full on have told me that they think I'm going to hell because I am a boudoir photographer. They are conservative and they
How did
religious.
you break it to them at the beginning? I mean, that must have been kind of
Yeah, it
scary.
didn't go over well. It didn't go over well, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's okay if what I do is not for you, right? Like I understand not everyone wants to do a boudoir photo shoot. Not everyone is ready, and that's okay. I am here for the people who want it, who are ready for it, who are craving this kind of experience that's going to give them this little boost that's going to allow them to document themselves, create a beautiful work of art to put in their bathroom for others to admire, right? I'm here for those people. There's always going to be critics. There's
Hmm.
always going to be people who, that's the thing about art and business, right? You're going to attract some people and you're going to repel other
Exactly.
people. And that's just the name of the game. You have to get real comfortable with that.
Right, right. And you know what? And today, for me doing this episode, I'm not saying, okay, everyone, ladies, in order to be empowered, go take these, boudoir pictures. No, like it's not for everyone. But I'm just trying to bring, a light on the subject of, well, this is an option. It's kind of fun if you think you have that kind of courage and confidence, and it just takes in with the confidence. And it's not for everybody, but it's just the first step is just for you to just forget the pictures. Just look in the mirror and be kind to yourself, kind to your body, and stop being critical, because this body is your power. This is, you have to live in gratitude. Like you wake up in the morning. I always say, like, just thank your body. Like, I'm awake, I'm moving, I'm standing. But we tend to do that. And even as females, I feel like when we get together, it's like, oh, like, we start analyzing, and it's like, oh, I hate, like, my wrinkles on my face, or I hate my thighs, or I hate my feet. And we start doing that with each other. It's like, instead of trying to find good things and to talk about one another. So,
Yeah, think if you could take all that energy that you have spent over the years hating your body or obsessing about things and channel that into something more productive, right?
yeah.
Because there's a lot of time and energy wasted on these things, in my
Yes.
opinion.
And I think we even do it to other people, right? Like, it's like
Yeah.
we'll be like sitting somewhere and then watching it, and oh my God, like, what is she wearing? Like, she doesn't have the body for that outfit. Or look at her butt, look at her thighs, look at her. And it's like that kind of judgment, and that, again, putting that energy is being wasted, right? So, now where do you think, let me see. I think I already said this to you, but so based on your success, I can't believe, how well you're doing. And um, I know you have a Facebook community and it's just growing. Based on your success, what are the three skills or qualities that you think a person needs to succeed today?
Well, success is a broad term, right? Like, what does success mean to you? Does it mean financial success? Does it mean time freedom? Does it mean time that you can spend with your loved ones, right? Like, I think there are a lot of different ways to be successful. But if you want to start a business, I would say number one, go for it. I think a lot of women stop themselves and say, well, who am I to start a business? I'm not an entrepreneur, right? Like, I would just say, you are just as smart and just as capable of as anyone who's ever started a business. You don't have, that's the great thing about starting a business. You don't have to have a law degree. You don't have to have a PhD. Like, anyone can start a business. So if there's something that you love, if there's something that you think the world needs, like, go for it. We need more women who are willing to open businesses. So first off, just have the courage to go do it. And then next, you have to be willing to put up with some haters. Like, if you're doing something that's worth doing, you're going to ruffle some feathers. You're going to make someone a little bit mad, right? Like, it might be your competition, it might be your family, it might be friend. Weirdly, sometimes the people closest to us are the least supportive of us doing something new and big and bold. And you wouldn't think it would be that way. You'd think like the people closest to you would be your biggest cheerleaders, and sometimes they are. Sometimes people are really lucky and they have supportive family and friends, but if you don't, that's okay, because you know what? Your clients aren't going to be made up of all your family and friends, right? Your inner circle might not get at all what you're doing, and that's okay. But there are people who will. And we live in this magical world with the internet where you can reach people across the whole
Hmm.
world, right? So you don't need to limit yourself to just your family and friends. If they're not supportive, that's okay. There's going to be other people who are.
No, that's very true. And that is true about what you're saying. You just have to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people that are going to support you and bring you up, so that, when you're going through all that stress, you're not around this negative energy. Now, what would you say has been your greatest challenge, like, that you had to deal with your new business?
Opening up my new business, there were several. So first off, when I first got started, I was open for about a year, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh,
About a year and a half, I suppose. And I was shut down for several months. Here, I'm in Chicago, here in the state of Illinois. I was classified as a salon because I offer hair and makeup services for my
yeah.
boudoir clients. And so it was illegal for me to open for business for a while. And I was devastated, right? I had just kind of gotten started. I was just working on things. And then the pandemic hit. And I know the pandemic hit us all in different ways. For me, the one silver lining was this. I came home, I had to shut my doors, I had to lock the doors to the studio, but I came home and I still had my laptop. And so I got on the internet and started to do a lot of work on my business that had really gone by the wayside. I was so busy taking pictures and working at the studio that I hadn't really worked on my website, my social media presence. I started this Facebook group that's still a big deal for me. So I was able to just like sit at home and do a lot of that internet work that I had not done on my business before. And that really made all the difference because, when you're starting a business, you're wearing so many hats, right?
Hmm.
Like you're trying to do all the things, and it's hard to be a webmaster and an Instagrammer and produce the
Yes,
photos and write
I hear you.
blogs,
Yeah,
right? So strangely, the closure of the pandemic gave me a little bit time and space to work on my business in a way that ended up being a blessing to me. Now, was it hard to dig back out of that hole? Yes. But in some ways, it was a really good shut down, focus on the online stuff. And then when I reopened, I was ready to get back at it.
that's great. That's great. So, I mean, you use like a bad situation in a positive way, and yeah, and I think the Facebook community has helped you a lot. To for people to get to know you and see and like get to know you personally and see what everyone's experiencing. Now, tell me this. So, what do you do when a woman feels that she's not ready to step into something so vulnerable, such as a boudoir photography, or even just seeing herself without clothes? How do you respond? Because it's hard. Because sometimes too, I feel like you think you can do it, and then you step into the studio, you look at all the pictures or you look at the albums, and then you just get really scared, right? I imagine, it's like, I mean, I think I felt like that too. It's like the first, when I went in, I was like, wait, I don't know if this is for me. This is a little bit too much. But it's like having that photographer like kind of talk to you and just say like, this is how it's going to work. It's going to be fun. But so how do you go about dealing with that? And have you ever had like people just say, no, I changed my mind and just run out of there really fast?
Okay, well, I've never had that actually. I did one time have a gal who called me from her car in the parking lot, and she's like, "I'm just not sure I can come in." And I said to her, "No problem, just come in, and I just want to meet you. We don't even have to do the photos." And so she came in, I met her, and I was like, "How about this? We'll do the hair and makeup, and then you can just go home. We don't have to take any photos." So we did her hair and makeup because every photo shoot at my studio includes professional hair and makeup with my beauty team. So we did the hair and makeup. And then I was like, how about this? We'll just take some headshots, clothes on. Okay. And then I was like, how about we do a few with just kind of like a drape? Anyway, I kind of moved her through it slowly. We ended up doing the photos and she loved them. It was just she needed to do baby steps. But you used an interesting term. You said, what do I do when a woman says she's not ready? To me, that's a really interesting phrase because ready, there's no such thing. There's no like, I got an award and it said, I'm ready. Ready is not actually like a thing. You can just
Mhm.
decide that you're ready and then you're ready, right? You don't actually have to do anything or achieve anything to be ready. You can just, it's a decision, not a state of being. So you can just decide that you're ready. The great thing about what we do in my studio is I really take all the guesswork out of this. I make it really easy for you. All you have to do is show up. So just show up. I'll take it from there. I'll do the hair and makeup. I have wardrobe items you can wear. I'll tell you exactly what to do and how to pose. So you don't have to know anything. You don't have to practice anything. You don't have to be confident. You just show up and I'll make you feel confident once you're there.
Yeah, the transformation happens once you're there, which is pretty neat. So
Yeah,
Liz, your
absolutely.
message is really simple. You don't need to change anything about yourself to be worthy of celebration. Through the beautiful imagery, we've learned that boudoir isn't about exposure. It's actually about empowerment. The choice to go nude or partially nude is just a healing journey because what truly matters is that you feel ownership of your body, your story, and your image. We are beautiful, ladies, at every age. These bodies, right, that we have to be grateful for, have carried children, endured surgeries, held scars and birthmarks, and yes, felt the pull of gravity with time. But beneath it all, our worth has never diminished. It's time to celebrate ourselves rather than criticize, to look in the mirror and see not flaws, but power. And sometimes taking fun and empowering boudoir photos can be the perfect first step to that confidence. Thank you, Liz, for being on Female Fluence. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
I just hope that if you're listening, you know how worthy and valuable you are just because you're alive. We know, just remember the last time you held a newborn baby and think about how we recognize how valuable and wonderful that new baby is. Now, that baby hasn't done anything. That baby hasn't gotten a job. That baby hasn't had a boyfriend. That baby hasn't lost weight. That baby hasn't graduated from school, right? But we know that that baby is inherently worthy and valuable, right? And you have not lost any of that. There's nothing you can do or not do to diminish that value as you've aged. So, stand up and claim that power, that value that you have, and know that you are worthy just as you are today.
Thank you. That's a great way to end this episode. Liz, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and learning about your work. The links will be in my show notes so you can find out more about her or just research your local boudoir photography wherever you live. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pearl. This was great.
Thank you everyone for tuning in today to Female Fluence. Together we can influence and motivate other mind-like females. Your job is to feel alive, be in control, and always be true to your own self. Please don't forget to subscribe so you can continue feeling inspired. All the links and notes from this episode will be posted on my website, femalefluence.com. Don't forget to also follow me at Female Fluence on both Instagram and Facebook. Lastly, if you are in need of a woman empowerment life coach to help you identify the barriers that keep you from living the life you seek, please send an email to info@femalefluence.org. Remember, my friends, don't just exist, but live your life to the fullest. I'm your host, Pearl Mashur. Until we talk next time.